In 2015, BTS was on the verge of seeing its career shattered. What began as a mysterious jump in album sales sparked one of the most explosive scandals in K-pop history. The figures were shocking, suspicions grew, and the question was inevitable. Were we witnessing a case of massive fraud or a fan revolution that Korea never saw coming? Today, BTS is the global phenomenon that fills stadiums and breaks sales records. But they weren't always the unstoppable giant we know them as. There was a time, not so long ago, when their name was tainted by one of the most dangerous rumors an artist can face in South Korea, the dreaded sajaegi, the fraudulent manipulation of music charts. They were accused of BigHit buying its own albums in large quantities to inflate the numbers and deceive the rankings. In the industry, such an accusation is practically a death sentence for a reputation. Groups like Momoland didn't survive anything like that. In 2015, when they were just beginning to emerge from obscurity, BTS was considered a new goo, the term used in the idol world to describe those groups that, despite existing, hardly anyone recognizes. They worked under BigHit Entertainment, a small and financially troubled agency far removed from the power of the big three: SM Entertainment, YG Entertainment, and JYP Entertainment. In the world of K-pop, the unwritten rules are harsh. The big three dominate the charts, control the most coveted TV shows, and take home the most prestigious awards. For a group from a small agency, breaking through wasn't just difficult, it was nearly impossible. But everything changed on April 29, 2015, with the release of the album The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 1, and its accompanying single, I Need You. Against all odds, this mini-album climbed the physical charts at a speed no one had anticipated. In its first week, it debuted at number 2 on GON's weekly charts, and just a week later, it reached number 1. For a group from a small agency, that wasn't just surprising, it was historic. But those numbers quickly sparked controversy. The real drama began when a user shared BTS's position on Hanteo's album sales chart at 8:00 p.m. On May 2, the group was in 4th place, with just 1,600 copies sold, a number that, at the time, seemed too modest to anticipate the storm that was about to unfold. But by 8:27 that same night, everything had changed. BTS had jumped to 1st place with an impressive 2,960 copies sold, a rise so rapid that, for many, it was difficult. But what really raised eyebrows happened in the next 6 minutes, between 8:27 and 8:33 p.m. In that short time, BTS sold an additional 4,000 copies, bringing the total to over 6,290 units. The question was inevitable. How could they sell so much in such a short time? With that viral post, outrage erupted on Reddit and Twitter, not only among BTS fans, but also among followers of other groups, especially BigBang. Many began sharing these figures just as BTS's album surpassed BigBang's Made Series M, further fueling the controversy. For many, the attack on BTS had a clear origin: the annoyance of seeing their favorite group surpassed. BigHit responded immediately, denying any manipulation and asserting that they didn't have the resources or infrastructure to carry out such an operation. But in K-pop, rumors always travel faster than clarifications. What few people knew was that BTS had already built a massive global fan base. Even before the release of their hit song I Need You in 2015, the K-pop group already had a large following in Russian-speaking countries. According to internet users in that region, this dedicated fan base had been key to BTS's sudden surge in album sales. Furthermore, fan communities were organizing massive purchases on a massive scale through forums and social media, long before the group achieved fame in their own country. Therefore, from the Korean industry's perspective, these sales spikes seemed abnormal. They were being driven by markets the local music scene had never considered in its calculations. Also, Koreaboo offered a completely legitimate explanation for the rapid sales increase. That same night was the last chance for fans to register for an autograph signing scheduled for May 16, with only 120 spots available. fans rushed to buy albums en masse, and since in-store sales aren't updated instantly, the whole buying frenzy appeared on the charts as a sudden spike. So, no scandal here, just a classic supply and demand frenzy. For their part, Hanteo administrators explained that physical sales are entered manually into the system at set times. This means that listings often reflect batch updates rather than real-time sales, making sudden spikes appear much more dramatic than they actually are. They also made it clear that barcode manipulation is strictly prohibited on their charts. Only verified purchases with proper documentation are counted. Even with all these explanations on the table, BigHit knew that such a rumor could end the group's career. That's why it decided to go on the offensive. The company filed a defamation lawsuit, and after an investigation, authorities found no evidence of sajaegi IMRs, closing the case for good. The label wanted to make it clear that, in addition to protecting its artists, it was also defending its own reputation. For many in the industry and fan community, this made no sense. The most convenient explanation was not to accept that BTS was growing fast, but to accuse them of sajaegi. But if you thought the story was over, it resurfaced in 2017, and this time with a twist worthy of a Korean drama. BigHit Entertainment was revealed to have been the victim of a blackmail scheme. A former business partner at a contracting company, identified only as Mr. Lee, threatened to divulge compromising information about alleged illegal marketing related to BTS's promotions in 2015. According to court documents, the company initially paid the extortionists to protect the group from the scandal, but later took them to court. Ultimately, the Seoul Central District Court sentenced Lee to 1 year in prison for blackmail and unlawful extortion. The verdict was clear: BigHit was the victim. That same night, in an official statement, BigHit Entertainment flatly denied any involvement in the so-called convenient marketing Lee mentioned. The transfer of money to Lee was made personally by our employee to protect the image of our artists. The agency itself never gave Lee any money, the company declared. In 2014, the scandal flared up again when Korea's Ministry of Culture got a petition to reopen the case. With BTS on military hiatus and HYBE locked in a feud with Ador's CEO Min Hee-jin, rumors started spilling, one claiming a shady 2015 plan to boost BTS's sales, supposedly tied to a 2017 blackmail attempt. KOCCA launched a probe into sales records, and HYBE once again denied everything, insisting they were still pursuing defamation cases. The news reignited the debate. ARMY, true to their combative style, launched hashtags like South Korea apologized to BTS and We support BTS not HYBE to make it clear that, while they might question the company, they trust the integrity of the artists. Some fans, however, admitted to feeling uneasy about the possibility of compromising details emerging. The ghost of the word fraud hovered again, reminding everyone that K-pop has a long memory. If there's one thing that sets BTS apart, it's their ability to make adversity part of their own narrative. In 2017, during the Wings Tour 25, they projected the words plagiarism and sajaegi onto the stage screens, appropriating the insults and transforming them into symbols of resistance. Plagiarism? Oh, yes. They were even accused of copying BigBang's iconic lawn photos and videos. It wasn't just an artistic gesture, it was a reminder that they had survived a time when every step they took was questioned. The fandom took that energy and channeled it into unconditional support. A year after the scandal, in 2016, BTS won their first daesang, Album of the Year at the Melon Music Awards, and Artist of the Year at the Mnet Asian Music Awards, an unprecedented feat for a group outside the Big Three. It's also interesting that the very title, I Need You, has, over time, become a symbol for ARMY. The song that gave them their first big win was also the one almost overshadowed by the most serious scandal of their career. And that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. See you next time.